Hello, boys and girls. May 19th, we're looking at fractions for our math task as well as our practice today. So up at the top, you have fraction strips, and it says, what do you notice? What do you wonder? So take time. What do you notice about the fraction strips? What are you curious about? And then we're going to answer some of these questions. So our direction says use the fraction strips to answer the questions. So I just put it right next to it so we can look. All right. So question number 1, how many thirds meaning 3, right? Thirds, third grade, right? Fit in 1. So I have one big fraction strip. And I want to know how many of these thirds make the same size strip. So remember, it needs to be the same. So I'm going to look at this tile. So I have 1, 2, 3 fits into 1. So thirds meaning 3. So there's 3 thirds fit into 1. Which number is closest to 0? Well, 0 is nothing, so I want the smallest one I can find. So no, that's not very small. But if I notice something, it gets smaller. Each piece gets smaller as I go down. So if it's closest to 0, I want the smallest piece possible. So the smallest piece possible, 6, 8, 10, oh, right here. Smallest piece possible is down here at the bottom, 1/12. Okay, which number fraction is closest to 1? Again, so this is 1. I want the one that is the biggest by itself. So if it goes smaller going down, that means going up, it's going to get bigger. So the biggest piece I have, the largest piece that I have is 1/2. All right, now it says which number is bigger? Okay, hold on. Let's do some erasing here. Get rid of some of these marks before we get going because we're going to do some shading, which is the best thing for you to do on your paper too. We're going to do some shading. So it says which number is bigger, 1/2 or 5/8? So I have 1/2. I'm going to color in 1/2. And I only want one of those 1/2s. So I'm going to shade in just one. And I want 5/8. So I'm going to find your 8s, and the numerator, here's your top number, says I want 5 of them. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Which number is bigger? So I'm going to look here. I have 1/2, which ends here, and 5/8. Ooh, so 5/8 is larger because the fraction tiles, if you notice, it goes way out here, right? Or that's not super straight, but you can see the point. It goes way over here. 1/2 doesn't get that far, right? All right, so we're gonna erase this again. And then we're gonna take a look at number 5. All right. Which numbers, okay, numbers S plural meaning more than one. So which numbers are equal to 1/2? So I left the 1/2. So I want this to go straight down. I want to know which one's equal to 1/2. Well, notice that one goes in the middle of the third, so that's not going to be helpful. Oh, look, but it lines up with the fourths line. So how many fourths do I have? I have 1, 2, so I have 2/4. But remember, it says numbers, so I'm looking for more than one, so we're going to keep going. So fifths, nope, it goes in the middle, so that's not even. Okay, but it matches up with the sixths. So I'm going to count sixths. I have 1, 2, 3 sixths. So I'm going to write 3 sixths. We're going to keep going. It matches up with the eighths, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. We're going to keep going until I get to the end. And again, it matches up here perfectly with the tenths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths. And we're going to check the twelfths. And it does match up with the twelfths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twelfths. All right, so all of these fractions are equal to 1/2, and you can tell because we drew a line straight down. You could also cut your fraction strips and play with them and find the correct sizes if you wish. All right, so we're going to continue with fractions on our practice today. So it says shade 1/2 of each shape. So again, you're looking at that bottom number that tells you your denominator, how many pieces we need. We need 2 pieces, so you're going to draw one line. So I'm going to make them as even as possible. And it says shading 1, so 1/2. I'm going to shade one piece. So I'm going to shade in that one. Again, make sure, again, you have to cut an even. If I cut it this way, they're not going to be the same size, right? They have to be the same size, same shape. So we need to cut down this in the middle. So I have 2 pieces. Again, 1, 2, one line. And I'm shading the numerator 1. Okay, same thing, 1/2. You're going to cut it in half. So you can cut it this way, you can cut it straight down, you can cut it this way, but again, and then you're going to shade in one of those halves. Same thing again, remember, I'm going to draw this real quick. Remember, your half, they have to be the same size. Are those the same size? No. Are they the same shape? No. So that won't work when I am, drawing it. So remember, we have to make sure they're the same shape, same size. So cut it right down the center right here. And again, coloring in the 1/2. This one, it says shade 1/3 of each shape. So again, thirds, I am cutting it into 3 pieces. So that means I need 2 lines. So, or in this case of a circle, we're going to make it a little peace sign. And my numerator top tells me how many to shade. So I'm going to shade in one of those thirds. All right, you're going to do these 2 on your own. And then it shows a 1/5, if you can't read that, 1/5 on the number line. So that means I need 5 pieces. In other words, 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And I'm going to count over 1/5. So starting at 0, and I'm going to go 0 to 1/5. So that's 1/5. You're going to do the same thing on 1/4, and that will complete your math for today. I will see you back for our next day's math task.